Alright, so what's up everybody, it's my name is Robert, got you guys a brand new video, and today, as you guys see, talking about the Eagles and the Steelers last night, preseason battle for Pennsylvania. Eagles win 17-0, dominant defensive victory, 4 turnovers forced in the first half, and yeah, let's just get right into it. So, first point I have up here, defense was making plays. We were getting pressure to the quarterback, the cornerbacks were going after the ball, being really aggressive, jumping routes, sticking with the receivers, being physical with the receivers, at times being a bit too physical, but if the referee's going to let you play, they're going to let you play. So, really liked everything from the defense so far in this preseason. Very, very dominant. And these low-scoring games, these 17-0 games, I feel like this is what we're going to be seeing all year from the Eagles because the offense is just way too inconsistent. Offensive line is just trash, terrible. And if Lane Johnson gets suspended, which he will, for 10 games, it's going to make it even harder on Bradford, Daniel, Wentz, whoever's back there. It's going to make it so much harder for them. Going to make it harder for the running backs, for them to open up holes. So the defense is good. I'm not worried about the defense because even with our cornerbacks being, okay, mediocre, if you have a good safety, we actually have 2 good safeties back there in the back end helping him up. And with the front 7 getting pressure to the quarterback, it kind of disguises the cornerback problems that we have. However, when your offensive line is bad, even the rest of your offense is bad, really. Because if your offensive line is bad, running backs don't have any holes to go through, quarterback doesn't have enough time to throw, he's always scrambling, always running for his life. And when it gets into a quarterback's head that, hey, there's pressure all the time, even when there isn't pressure and there's a clean pocket, you'll still panic because you know that pressure is coming because you know the offensive line isn't good. So we're just going to have to see how it's going to shake out, but I predict a lot of low-scoring games like this. Offense was really inconsistent. However, there were a couple of bright spots, and one of those was Paul Turner. I've never heard of this guy. If I did, I would have made a video on him, but I really never heard him. I never heard of how we got him. I think he's an unsigned free agent or something like that. I don't know. However, this guy was balling. He catches everything that's thrown to him, and he made an Odell Beckham-style catch. He just leaned back with a defender all over his eyes, so he couldn't even see. He barely could see the ball. He just held on, and it really should have been a pass interference or something on the defender. He was all over him, but very, very nice catch by Paul Turner. And then he came back the very next play, or a couple plays later, I think, and he caught a nice slant route right across the middle of the field. So this guy really, he can catch, and we need receivers who can catch because Aguilar had a really nice catch down the middle, but then the very next play, he had an easy crossing route catch, and he dropped it. No one was around him. If he would have went and caught it, Aguilar's fast. If he would have caught it, he would have went up for at least 20 yards. At least 20 yards. So, I mean, terrible inconsistency for the receivers, but a couple of bright spots in Paul Turner. And while we're on the topic of receivers, DGB, Dorial Green Beckham, he was playing. A day after he comes here, he suits up and he plays. Granted, he didn't have any catches, and he was only in for 2 plays. However, he did play. He had one big opportunity on a fade route in the back of the end zone, but it was terribly underthrown by Chase Daniel. He had no chance to get it. Not even Megatron would have caught that because it was so terribly underthrown. The cornerbacks had to look back, and all you have to do is knock it down like that. With a guy like Beckham, because he's so tall, I think he's 6'5", 6'6", just throw it up. Just throw it up nice and high for him in the back of the end zone, and he'll come down with it. His nickname is the Fade Freak, and they don't call him that for nothing. He's a big boy, so you just got to throw it up for him. He'll come down with it. So yeah, let's move on to the quarterbacks. Bradford was solid. He played all of the first quarter. Yeah, he played a quarter and a half. He was solid, typical Bradford. But that's what you're going to expect from Bradford, just taking the safe option, check downs, stuff like that. Chase Daniel played pretty well, but just like Bradford, he's going a lot with the safe option, a lot with these slants, these outs, these really, shorter throws, which is the complete opposite of Wentz. All that we've heard about him is that he's not afraid. Even if a receiver is tightly covered, he'll try to find that open pocket, that open window. So yeah, Bradford's solid. Chase Daniel played pretty well. One gripe I really have, and it was super annoying the whole game. Way too many offensive line penalties. We really need to get that cleaned up. Offensive line coach, I think it's Jeff Stowland. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really know, but he needs to go over them in practice about penalties and holding and all that stuff. A lot of these calls are so blatant. Like I forget one of the offensive linemen. I think he's inside guard. It was a run play for Matthews, and the way he held him, it was so obvious. It wasn't even like he was trying to be discreet. He just held him all the way through the play. It's like, come on, man, are you serious? Like I said earlier, offensive line is going to be a real problem for us this year. But if the defense can keep us in games, I feel like we can be a 6-10, 7-9 type team. If the defense isn't as good as it is in the preseason, I see us going 4-12, 3-13, having a terrible record. So we'll see. Still have 2 more games. The real game is coming up next week against the Colts, Game 3. This is when we're really going to see the starters in extended action on both sides. So we're really going to see what the Eagles' 2016 campaign is going to be all about next week. But until then, this has been Mobe212. Like, rate, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.
I don't care what nobody says.